Welcome back everyone to another showcase, and today we're going to be doing a review on the Omni-Hopper mod, which is created by Enjari, yeah, Injuri. That sounds pretty weird, but anyways, so I am just going to read the description of this because this looks very wordy, and let me just fix my game. There we go. So they do have a Discord server, so the link is provided there. I will include that in the description so you guys can check in just to see what the creator is up to. And let me just read the description. Have you ever thought about why hoppers can only suck from above? You could say it makes sense from a realism perspective, or mention it encourages creativity through limitations. These are all valid arguments, of course, but who cares about reason when you have to get an item from one machine to another in some awkward configuration, and you have to decipher some obscure pipe mod to insert it from below, or spend ages working your way up the tech tree to craft some other kind of transport method. Don't you wish the humble 5-iron ingot hopper would help you out in these situations? But alas, it was not meant to be. It seemed we would be forever shackled in chains laid upon us by Lord Jeb himself. And I guess it just makes a reference about the hopper situation from 1.6.2. Kind of reminds me of the Better Than Wolves mod pack. That mod pack was pretty difficult. Until one day, the young Omni-Hopper was born. With a small offering of 1 copper ingot, one everyday hopper can be freed from its constraints and be placed in any possible orientation. Surely this will change the fate of Modded Minecraftia forevermore. No longer shall players have to suffer under the rule of realism. Freedom is within our grasp. Add Omni-Hopper to your mod pack today and free your hoppers. Wow, this kind of sounds like hopper liberation. That is very intriguing. I know, guys, that was a very long description, but it felt kind of colorful when just reading it because they were really putting the emphasis on the Omni-Hopper. But let's just see what the Omni-Hopper is. So these are the Omni-Hoppers, and in order to craft them, just get a hopper and a copper ingot, like it says. Luckily, we didn't. I thought it was going to be like you get a chest, then you have the 5-iron ingots, and you put a copper on the top. That would probably be a very sophisticated way to craft one, but this just makes it very simple. So if you have tons of hoppers, just get a hopper, copper ingot, then you get yourself the Omni-Hopper, and it says can be placed in any orientation, as it says in the lore itself. So let me go and collect a few. So we have the Omni-Hopper, the Omni-Flopper, and those are the only 2 things? Wait, we also have the Omni-Whopper? Wait, hold up. Omni-Flopper. Okay, I'm trying to see if there's anything different here other than I think it's just mostly copper variants. And we also have the Omni-Whopper. I never heard about this before, but luckily the lore does tell you what it does. So the Omni-Flopper transfers fluids instead of items, omnidirectional. Omni-Whopper, a cheaper and slower hopper variant. Omnidirectional, wait a minute. So wait, the cheaper variant, what do they mean by that? A Whopper, copper ingot. Okay, so this is basically the cheaper version of a hopper. So, slower. And I think the sun is slowly going down ever since I've been reading all this information. So let me just read what's on this page again. It says this variant, so Omni-Hoppers, this variant of vanilla hoppers can be placed in any orientation, sucking from and inserting into any side. But we're going to actually just see this for ourselves because, I mean, I can keep reading these descriptions, but I mean, we got places to be. I know and I understand. So let's just give these a try. So I know we're going to use coal, and I'm just going to try some iron ore just to see how this works. I mean, don't blame me, but this is for science, and that's what matters. So we're mostly used to, let me just type this. So we're mostly used to this method of putting stuff in, like, you know, just a typical hopper, just connect to the unit and just make a farm. But they added omnidirectional, which allows us to place it any way we want. So you can see that there's this different in multiple ways. Like, it's so crazy because you can actually like make it point straight. You can be at this angle and it just turns this way. You can be at this angle and it turns that way. But you have to understand how this works though, because this can be confusing for those that probably are used to like this method, just put in the hopper the way it should. It's very weird. So let me just show it like an example again. So as you can see, we can put the hopper just like this. This is like basically one way. See, you can only go one way. But if you use the omnidirectional, it's basically like pointing very oddly based on like where you're shifted from. So you can see like it's like slanted on the side. Just look at it that way. So omnidirectional means it's mostly slanted on the side instead of just being straight up and down. It's kind of confusing, but you'll get the hang of it. And I will just say put like a furnace here. I'm just going to see how this omnidirectional is going to work. So since I want to pull from here, sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. It's very weird. So let me just put a chest here, and I will just put the stuff in there. But you're going to have to learn how to navigate this. But after some time, it's going to become easy. But this just makes it look very cool. Like, probably make like some very interesting design this way. And you don't want the hopper to like, you don't want the stuff to like go down here, because I don't think it's going to like go to it either. But as you can see, it's working effectively. And if I say point it like this, no, I'm trying to see how we're going to like pull stuff out, because we got like a chest right here. I might just be thinking weird. I might just be thinking wrong. Yeah, it's like very weird when you like try to place it. Like, I can place it right here, but it's still next to this block. It's so weird. And if we get our output, it should be able to move it, but I think it can only go down. So yeah, there is some caveats here. Like, omnidirectional can't go like on the sides or anything. So in other words, it makes us able to actually output stuff on the sides, but I will say for certain blocks, not all blocks. But other than that, this is a learning experience. So yep, you can also still treat it as a regular hopper. So now we're going to try out is the flopper, which is for fluids. So I'm just going to try a water bucket just to see how this is going to work. Because we have is this 2x2, and I have to, I'm not sure. Let me see something. I do have to look at the page here, because it also shows like a good example. Wait a minute. So I probably didn't have to do this. Just got to get grass blocks. Let me repatch this back up. Yeah, I'm still trying to learn a little bit of here. Let me just type in cauldron, because you need a cauldron and the water bucket, because you have to somehow let it pull and just make a pit of water. It's gonna be weird though. Like, you just put water in, like you're just trying to make some potions. Then you make a 2x2 and then you connect it. Or let me see here. I'm trying to see how we're going to like make it it's a very weird setup. It's like very weird. That is so weird. But let me read what it says though. Whoppers, a basic alternative to vanilla hoppers. Wait, hold up. No, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. My mistake. Floppers. Floppers are another hopper variant. They can be crafted in the same recipe as a regular hopper, but replacing iron with copper and the chest with a bucket. Since they're made of copper, they can oxidize. It would be wax like any other copper block. But I'm trying to see I'm trying to make this I'm trying to make this go on this block. That is, yeah, this is gonna take like a lot because it can move fluids. That's so confusing. Does it work like that? Okay, so it did move. It did move. So what's going on here? That is so confusing. Like, I'm genuinely confused. Like, how is this water supposed to move? Okay, now this one's connected, but it's water. I know, guys, this is like very messy. Because the omnidirectional, it can move stuff, but at the same time, it's a bit of a problem. Because how can I move the fluid out appropriately? Yeah, it seems like there's just a lot of learning. Lots of learning. Like, that is so weird. Like, how are they able to place that block like that? I'm not sure I'm supposed to be, like, pointing it down. Wait a minute. I think that's what we were trying to do. But I don't know if it's, like, working. Like, I did this. Is it gonna fill? I don't know, guys. But it does show, like, it's here, but I don't know if it's, like, move it to, like, another hopper. Or to another, not hopper, to another cauldron. Let me just get a torch so I can see, like, what I'm working with here. Because it's getting a bit dark. Yeah, it's getting dark. So I'm trying to see how this water is going to get moved. Like, why is it not pulling? That's very strange. Like, how is this water outputted? Like, I'm doing everything I can to move this water. I don't know, guys. This is just a very weird, this is a very weird system. But you can also make, like, a pipe if you do want to, like, let it input and output somehow. That is strange. Actually, let me try something. If I put this cauldron and I put the water down, okay. Okay, so, okay, now I see. Because if I break this and see, it immediately gives me indefinite amount of cauldrons. So I will say this is basically a very effective cauldron farm. But I'm still pretty confused about this whole thing, though. Because it's the way how it's everything connected. But I think I'm starting to understand that this top here is the input, and this little thing here is the output. So, yeah, I think I'm just learning a little bit slow, which is fine because this is all a learning experience. And then we have an Omni-Hopper, and the Omni-Hopper is basically a hopper, but cheap. So this one is a regular Whopper. This one is an Omni-Hopper, a copper ingot. So I want to see, like, how fast does it actually move items? So I'm definitely going to have to see the speed for myself. So we're going to try the Whopper and a regular hopper. I'm going to try just putting in iron ingots. I mean, I understand it's going to probably just conflict with something. Or, you know what, let me just make it a bit fair just to even the odds. So they are all connected. And then all I got to do is just place just one stack of iron ingots, because they will just both get 32 in a stack, but we will see the speed. So we're going to start now. Okay, okay, so it's already at 10. This one's at 7, 17, 10, 23, 13, 30, 17, 40, 21, 42, 22. So yeah, it does show the speed. So it is basically 2 times slower. So if you do tend to make these wooden hoppers, you could still use them, but again, they're just gonna be a lot slower. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the same for the Omni-Hopper, because it's basically a cheaper version of this Whopper here. So they're both slow. So if you use Whoppers, very slow. If you use a regular hopper, then you're good. If you use a flopper, make sure the top part or the flat part is facing as the input and the little bottom piece is the output, just to constantly make an indefinite farm of cauldrons or maybe tanks for other mods. And I think that should be everything for this mod. It's quite interesting once you put in the mind to it, because you can make farms, you can automate, you can let them rust to develop things. And hold up, wait a minute, there's something else here. There's even more stuff. There's a lot of stuff. So we also have lidless chests. These simple blocks will instantly drop any inserted items into the ground. They can face in any directions. Okay, let me see this, because I know there's like some other things that I'm probably missing out on. The lidless chest. All right. Is there anything that they're hiding? Because I probably didn't check every category. Okay, basic upside down sorter. An unconventional sorter that uses Omni-Whoppers to pull items out of the water stream from above. Okay. The items are dropped into the stream using a lid chest. That is quite intriguing. So it's like a little automation farm? That is quite intriguing. So this is the lidless chest. So let me just read this. Drops, okay, it's kind of hard to read because it's the lore. Drops any inserted items on the ground. Any inserted items on the ground. I want to see how that works. So let me just put in raw gold. I know this time I actually did something. Don't worry. All right, so we do that, which this is going to give us the output. Wait a minute. Yeah. Is it because we put something down here? Let me remove this old one. And let me just renewal it. Sometimes we just got to do this for science. I mean, I know this is kind of like a long showcase, but we just got to deal with it. It's part of the learning experience. And lidless chest. So I would say the lidless chest can probably be placed in any way. So let me see here. Okay, so this is the lidless chest, and if I place it like this, it should work, but I probably have to like try like another way. So let me... Okay, this is a regular hopper. Why am I using a regular hopper? Get away from regular hoppers. Okay, let me see. Okay. I did not mean to break that. Man, these blocks are just... It's like they just know they want to be broken. So I would say you probably have to set it up like this, and then you place it. Then it should be outputting. Wait, it still didn't work? This is this is gonna be very like this is literally the learning experience. I'm trying to see how can this stuff be pulled, but the only way you can pull it is from the bottom. Like this is strange. Like very strange. And then maybe I can pull like this. Yeah. You have to try to work some things around. Like right now, this is kind of cool. Like you see, it just outputs, just drops items out like a little chute. See? But you're still going to have to be careful though, because if you do try to set up some, I guess, unit here, you can see how compact it looks, but it's quite counterintuitive because it looks like you could just put like a regular hopper right here and you could still get something outputted. And you can probably use create or conveyor belt just to move the items to somewhere else, maybe to be processed or just to put it in a storage somewhere. So yeah, that's what the lidless chest is. And to make it, it's basically like a cauldron, but it's literally a lidless chest because you don't see an extra plank. And I hope that actually wraps up everything, because this mod is quite intriguing once you put in the mind to it. But it might take like a few days to adjust, just to get used to the omnidirectional polarities of how these hoppers kind of have the inverted axis of putting items in and out. And give credit to the mod creator, Enjarai. It's like I'm saying injure eye. It's a very interesting name. Give credit to them. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I would say it just makes things easier. Instead of just maybe making expensive cables, you could just use wood and a few pieces of copper just to make some very movable objects. And this is considered a tech mod. So this still is considered some sort of technology. Quite primitive, but still efficient, but mostly in the early game. But if you guys enjoy, then I'm very grateful. Until then, I'll see you next time with another showcase. And yeah, I'm still going to do some more research after that. But take care.